Hello and welcome back again to my second video on Torus and Unity. Welcome guys. I was testing and I want to give you some insights on the results I got in Torus and Unity about single-sided liquidity providing, also called one-sided liquidity providing. It's the same, and since a lot of people doesn't seem to do it and are afraid of it, I did some testing and want to share with you what did work well and what didn't, and what you could do with your tokens. So let's start right away with that topic. And by the way, you can pay attention to my mouse cursor, and that should point out to you what I'm talking about right now. So let's go. This is the basic question, because some people have tokens and the question is, what can I do with them? And you can always buy on market. For example, if price is low, and then same question is there. You can do different things. So basically the question is, how can I gain more tokens, especially in the bear market when you have to wait anyway for price appreciation. So are there some options? And what are those options to gain more tokens? And also pretty important is if you don't have fresh money for staking fee, which is a common problem, I guess. Sooner or later, every single one of us is out of money for that, because it gets more expensive and you get more tokens out. So I spoke about that in my first video. So let's dive into it. So the first option, easiest, is just buy and hold. But well, there is pros and cons to every option. I have 4 options here. So the first one is the obvious one, just holding. Problem is, it doesn't have to be a problem necessary, but you just don't get more tokens, and your percentage of overall tokens gets smaller because of new inflation tokens. So you have less percentage, because one question was also, can I become a whale? And well, if you don't earn more tokens, no. Or even if you are a whale now but you don't earn more, your position gets diminished. The bigger issue I have with this, me personally, I always speak only for myself, is you are not doing what the protocols are meant to do. And it's okay to just buy and hold, but then you kind of wait for others to pump your bags. And the problem is, the design of this project is, and I guess of any project, is without demand. There is no project, no successful project anyway. So we have these funds, and those need to be fueled, or over time the current funds, they have some in, but they get diminished also. So they are being spent on liquidity building and burning. So if there is no fuel for those, it's not good. So you have to wait. Basically, also, you don't know when the price goes up. So you can hold, but you might need to hold for a long time to get appreciation. The good thing is it's effortless, and usually time makes money, but you don't know how long it takes. And the good thing, obviously, you are not selling, so you are not hurting the price chart. So what is the next option? you could sell to like a portion of your tokens and stake the rest. On the chart, you see here on the pictures the red candles, and I'm assuming maybe not every candle of those was selling to stake. Maybe some people took profits, but I guess a lot of those candles were used to stake because it's costly, we know it. Well, the problem is when you sell, you have to pay some slippage fees or trading fees. So it's not like you're not getting the best out of that deal. Yeah, I don't think it's nice to see those red candles. Like I would, of course, I would prefer to see only green candles up. So kind of to protect the chart, it would be nice if there would be another option which kind of does the same but without red candles. Wouldn't that be great? Also for new people, for external people who look at the chart and they see, wow, there's only up, kind of, right? So the good thing is though, it feels like you pay the staking fees, so you help the protocol to go on and be successful. It's immediate, so yeah, like, you know, every day less tokens come out. So and you know, I don't think couple of days make a big difference in that regard. But anyway, fact is, if you stake today compared to you stake tomorrow, you get slightly more tokens. That depends also on participation, but basically it's immediate, so you get no dilution, you don't wait. So that's the next option which I want to talk about in this presentation, basically single-sided liquidity pool. And the goal is the same. You want to stake, so you want to convert portion of your tokens in a more peaceful way than second option with red candles. So here you don't produce red candles on the chart, basically. That's a nice thing, and you kind of do the same, but there's some differences. I will show it now. Here at the bottom picture you see, for example, I will talk about this later also, but basically like 77% is Torus and 23% kind of is TITANX. So I converted, so this LP was running for some time, for a couple of days, and I converted 22.7% of initially 100% Torus to TITANX. So if I would remove this position, I would get out, here you see 73 million TITANX, which I could use to stake the Torus tokens which are left. That's the basic idea, that's it. And here you see some fees which you earn on the way as a little bonus, and it might not be a huge earning, but that's also not the goal, it's just a bonus. So the goal is here above. You convert portion of your Torus tokens to TITANX or your Unity tokens to PLSX to be able to stake. That's the basic idea. So yeah, I want to talk to you about you make this liquidity pool to the upside. That's what I did, that's what I tested, so I can share with you because it's validated. So in order to earn or to convert the tokens in that way, you need an uptrend. If you make single-sided LP to the upside, the price needs to go up, and then it works. If it goes down, it doesn't work. Yeah, so activity is required, even, I mean, exactly for that case, if price goes down and you set your LP range to go up, then you need to optimize, means you need to rearrange the range, the set range. So you have to remove your set liquidity position and add it again at a lower price. So in case price goes down in a downtrend, you need to redo the liquidity position you made initially. So that's kind of some work you need to do and some patience, because you sometimes need to do it over and over again. The good thing is you fuel the funds because you pay for the staking fee, same as selling to stake, second option. The good thing is here also it's like a bonus. As I said, you gain some fees if you are in your set price range. The price, I mean, if it's in that range, then you gain some fees. It's some bonus on the ROI. Yeah, that is the ROI basically, because besides converting tokens, there is no ROI. You're just converting tokens. There is no slippage. That's the nice thing, because the LP position converts tokens. Like initially, if you look here, it was 100% Torus and 0% TITANX. And over time, as the price goes up, and price, I mean the ratio between Torus and TITANX. And guys, it's the same for Unity and PULSECHAIN. And in this video also I will have both protocols, so don't be afraid. Unity is considered as well. You will see. So yeah, there is no slippage because you are not actively selling. The protocol is exchanging tokens in the background, so you have no selling. And selling slippage, it doesn't, it might not seem like a big loss, but it depends on how many tokens you are selling. If it's couple, like a bigger position, then the slippage yeah, gets more important. There is less chart volatility. This can be a good and a bad thing, but basically it's a good thing if you set the range in a certain way, and I will show you later what I mean by that. But basically, the more, like the bigger the liquidity pool overall is, and I will also show you some statistics about the current standings in Torus and Unity. So when you, as a user, provide liquidity, you stabilize that overall liquidity pool. So if someone is selling a big position, the bigger the overall OP is, the less it's affected. And the same is valid to the upside. So it's harder to move the price down and up. But less chart volatility, I have it here as a pro, as a good thing, because over time we want to stabilize also the chart, but yeah, that will take some more time. By gives options, I mean you can exit your liquidity position at any given point in time. So it doesn't mean you are kind of depending on what the price does. You can exit anytime. So that gives you options. And very important topic, I guess, it's a permanent loss. You will see on the next page. It's dedicated to the guys who are afraid, and I was afraid too, because if you never made any liquidity pool, of course, the only or the main thing you hear about it, oh, be careful. And definitely what I want to point out here, when you make some advanced or different type of liquidity pool like 50-50 or full range and so on, we will get to this later, then it's an issue. But with a single-sided LP, there is no issue, and I will show you. So, and the fourth option will be, later though, the Aether platform, where you will be able to offer your Torus and Unity tokens to stake for a third party. And that's kind of like con. Yeah, the third party needs some incentive, so you need to offer higher ROI as the DAPP, for example, so you get less ROI compared to what the DAPP would give you, but still you get some ROI because you don't pay the staking fee. It's better than just holding liquid. So also, small detail, there is no emergency end stake. If that's important for someone, be aware. In Aether, that's deactivated. The good thing is also funds are being fueled, and also you don't have to pay the fee. That's the whole point of Aether. So someone else pays for you. The very good thing is, I guess, it's not the users who are already in, it's new users. And external demand is beneficial or even maybe necessary for a project. And I guess it's the best for the chart because you don't have to sell, you don't have to make some LP. It's kind of also like, it's not direct selling, but like you lose tokens. It's new external energy, so the chart is growing because funds grow, and these small little candles which appear every 10 minutes just get bigger if the funds are getting bigger. So in this presentation, this video, I want to focus on this topic, single-sided liquidity providing. It's also called one-sided liquidity providing, which is the same, and let's go on. But before we start, let's talk about impermanent loss a little bit and why it's not an issue with a single-sided liquidity position, liquidity providing. So basically the idea why you would even make a liquidity pool, liquidity position in the first place is to earn fees. And you have tons of videos on this on YouTube, or like DeFi videos, how you can hedge and what to do if price goes up or down, or which range to set up, and that's advanced, and that's not the topic here. And basically there you have the risk of impermanent loss. If the price goes out of your range and you exit your position, then you lose some. That's not the topic here. That's another deep dive, completely different topic. Here I want to make clear that single-sided is not the usual LP position. It's not 50-50, or it's not a weighted position like sometimes you have on platforms. You have 80-20 ratio between two tokens, or you have even multiple tokens which you can throw into an LP position. But here it's really simple. You have two tokens and you start with token A in 100% and you want to convert it slowly over time to token B, and that's the main goal. That's the main goal in the first place, and fees are being earned on the way, but the period of time where you have this liquidity position is short. It's not like permanent. It's not long term. It's just for the time where you have converted some portion enough for you to exit and being able to stake. That's the goal here. So just a short schematic which I made for you. So basically how it looks like, or how it works, it's really simple. So you have some current price, and from that point you set up an LP and you say, okay, I set a certain range, and in that range I expect the price to go up, and on the way token A is being converted to token B, and outside of this set range, which is green, you would have a red zone where you would be out of range. So if the price goes down, or if the price goes even above the range which you set, so you're setting the limit. The low limit is the current price, or slightly above, and the upper limit is set up by you, and that's the target price, exactly, in percent. Like for example, you set up 20%, then you mean the price goes up 20%. So there are two cases. Price either goes up or down. So in case one, it goes up, and that's what you want. So let's assume it goes up. What happens? Like it doesn't go up immediately to 100%. Like it depends on the range, but yeah, basically it goes up slowly, and you can decide when to exit the position. So you have certain percentage, and it's up to you to decide when to exit. So on the way of this arrow, when the price goes up, slowly conversion happens between token A to token B, and you earn some fees. So as long as you are inside this green range, you earn fees. And this is also visualized on Uniswap and 9mm DEX. You see if you are in range, like on Uniswap it's called in range, on 9mm DEX it's called active, or out of range and inactive. So if you are in range, active, you earn fees. So if the price goes above your highest, your target price here, you stop earning fees. But that's not an issue, because if you wait so long, so like you have to not pay attention to the chart at all, because if you are in the Telegram chats and like some big upside price action happens, you won't miss it anyway. But even if you miss, which won't happen, believe me, because we make the range in a smart way. I tested it, I will show you. But even if it happens, the price goes above your set range, then you converted everything. And the only issue that you could face here is, for example, you put all of your tokens in this liquidity pool, and you basically don't want all of them to be converted. Because basically you need to leave some tokens there to stake. So you only want to convert a portion of your tokens. Well, first, don't do that, or don't miss price going up so high, or don't put all your tokens in the liquidity position. So it's really hard to mess it up, because price doesn't go up in a God candle. We have long-term projects, so the price moves, it doesn't move in God candles. Let's say it like that. And yeah, so you reach some milestones, kind of 10%, 20, 25, 30, whatever that means, and you see what it means. Like, percent are not so important. More important is how much TITANX or PLSX you would get if you exit the position, and that is shown on the Uniswap and 9mm DEX. So you have the number, for example, whatever, 1 billion TITANX or 100 million PLSX, and then you can go to the DAPP of Torus or Unity, and then you can see how many tokens you can stake with that number of tokens needed to stake. Like what is your potential? And then you can think, okay, I want to exit now, or I wait longer until I get more TITANX or PLSX to stake for the staking fee. So in the second case, price goes down. What happens there? Nothing. Basically nothing happens, and that's so I mean you don't lose anything. So you're just out of range, but as you start with 100% of Torus or Unity, that just doesn't change. So you don't lose, you don't convert, and you don't earn fees, but you end up with what you started with. So you don't lose anything. And forgot what I wanted to say, but here the question is basically what is the best range. So to protect yourself from missing crazy price action or whatever, I will show you basically throughout this video. I remembered just now what I wanted to say here in case 2. That's the annoying thing. If the chart moves in a downtrend and you set your range for an uptrend and it goes lower and lower and lower, you have to readjust your liquidity position. So you have to exit it, remove it, and do it again with a lower current price, because like the current price goes lower, goes down, so you need to set up a new liquidity position instead of the old one. You exit the old one, you make a new one with a lower price, because otherwise you just have to wait longer until the lower price goes up to your initial current price. So you have to readjust the current price lower, so you don't have to wait longer for it to start to convert and earn fees. So that's the work and the annoying part. But also guys, if you wait for the end, for the very end, and you can also skip all of this, what I say right now, basically I can say it already, you can make a liquidity position not only to the upside, you can make it also to the downside, but please be patient. Okay, so let's go. How to set it up. How to make a liquidity position to provide liquidity. And on the left side you have Uniswap, on the right side you have 9mm DEX, because there's some slight differences how it looks like, but basically it does the same. So on Uniswap you go to pool and create position. On 9mm you go to liquidity and add liquidity. And here it's already like I changed it to V3. By the way, if you don't know it guys, it's always V3 liquidity in both Torus and Unity. So next step would be the contract address of Torus or Unity token, and you can get it from the DAPP. You go to the DAPP is right here, and then you choose to, I guess, whatever page. There are multiple pages on the DAPP, and you click any of that and you scroll down. You scroll down, 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 and you have multiple addresses for the token itself, like here you see, for liquidity pair and for the contract addresses and so on. But basically that's what you need here, because these DEXs, they they are not familiar with Torus and Unity because that's some special token. That's why you need this number. You need to insert it. So on Uniswap, you need to insert this contract address here because it's always two tokens. You need always a pair in the liquidity pool. So TITANX is well known. You don't need to put in the number, but for Torus, you need the contract address. And here as well, you have to choose first the V3 position. You have another option on Uniswap, which you don't have on 9mm. On Uniswap, you can choose a V4 position, which I have zero experience with. But anyway, you can also make a V2 position here. But as I said, you need V3. So be careful. That is important. V3 position first. Then you put the contract address of Torus here, choose TITANX as the pair token, and automatically it will be chosen at 1% fee tier. There are different tiers for the fee, and basically the contract itself, or the main liquidity pool of Torus, has a 1% fee tier. And that's where the total value locked. So that's where the main liquidity pool of the protocol is. How it's set? It's set at 1%. So that's what you also want to use. And on 9mm, it's different. That's why you have here this fire symbol. So that's kind of being recommended to you. And 99% big, I don't know, I guess that means that the protocol uses a V3 liquidity pool with this setting of 0.01%. And I'm not an expert on this, and I will show you later that I got to my limits here. But anyway, that's what we should use, I guess, in Torus 1% and in Unity 0.01%. So this is how the front end looks like on the dexes. And here also don't forget to copy to paste the Unity contract address here. PLSX also, of course, it's known, so you don't have to type in the contract address. But please guys, pay attention, there are two PLSX tokens on 9mm because there's one made on pump tires. So yeah, just be careful that you choose the right one, the original core token. So here you could switch to V2 liquidity, but that's not what you want. You need here the V3 liquidity pool, and you can choose it in step 1, or you can just pay attention here in step 2 that it's chosen on V3 liquidity pool. So next step, and that's basically the final setting for a liquidity pool on Uniswap. That's how the second step looks like. And here also you can verify if you have the right setting. V3 1%, that's what you want on Torus and TITANX liquidity pool. Set price range, and here you have options, full range and custom range. We need a custom range, and if you click on it, you have here some text. Yeah, but requiring more active management. Like if we are in an uptrend, if the price chart, like you set your liquidity pool for an uptrend and the chart is in an uptrend, then you don't need active management. And you know what, guys, I will share with you right now the genius idea I had when I made this presentation today. Is you take 50% of your tokens and you make a liquidity pool to the upside, and the other 50% you make liquidity pool to the downside. And that way, regardless if it's an uptrend or a downtrend, one of your liquidity pools will be working. That's just a quick outside. That's an idea. It works because the price either goes up or down in the trend, and that's what you can do. It's easy, right? So here you see the current price of Torus in a ratio to TITANX. So one Torus would cost 386,675 TITANX tokens. And here you would see some options to choose, and basically what we need is a one-sided upper, or another idea which I told you right now would be one-sided lower, but basically in this presentation and also what I tested last week was only one side upper. So supply liquidity if price goes up. Yes, that's what we assume. That's what we want. And how to set it up. By the way, here you have small visualization of it. Like if here's the price, you are kind of betting on the price to go up. It's not trading. I guess betting is not the right word. So you just set the range to the upper side. So you start, as you can see here, at the minimal price. So if the current price is, for example, 386k, you go one tick, it's called a tick, so small steps in percentage, small steps up. So the next step to the upside would be 392,000. It depends. Sometimes it's like here it's plus 1.4%. Sometimes you're lucky and it's only plus 0.3%, so you don't have to wait longer. So in this case, you would have to wait for the price to go up 1.4% before you are inside your range. And you can also here, by the way, you can go one tick down. You can push, like these are active buttons, you can push on the minus button and then it goes below zero. So it goes into minus 0.7%, for example. And in that case, because this is your low limit, in this case, if it goes below zero to the negative percentage, you can do that, but then you need a small bit of TITANX. I hope you can understand this, guys, and it's not difficult. It's really simple. Go to the Uniswap site and try it out. What I mean is, if you start above zero, you don't need any pair token. In this case, it's TITANX. It's sufficient to provide only Torus tokens, and then you can set up the liquidity position. And the max price is plus 80%. And why it's plus 80%? Yeah, that's that is basically the result of all of this video. So that is the optimal setting in Torus, in my perspective, after my testing, plus 80%. And you can change this on these with these buttons. So if you click here, you can click here also, by the way, it is set to plus 100%. But you don't need it that way necessarily. You can change it, you can adjust. So 80% to the upper side, that would be the upper limit of your price range. 80% is what works great for multiple reasons, which I will share later. Yeah, and then you can deposit tokens. Here you can choose how much. So of course you have to connect your wallet first. And by the way, one difference between Uniswap and 9mm is on Uniswap I am able to connect my hardware wallet via Wallet Connect. and on 9mm I am not able to do it. So there is an option for Wallet Connect, but when I click on it, it doesn't work, it doesn't pop up. So on 9mm I am connecting the hot wallet. So on 9mm how it looks like, it looks different, but it does the same. Here, what you saw on the page before already, you can choose 1%, and on Uniswap I made two different liquidity pools, and on 9mm also I made one with 1% and one with 0.01%. So you can choose. Yeah, and here what it looks like when you set up the price range. Like if you want to do it similar to Torus, that's what you would do. And these sliders, these are active sliders here, you can move them. You can also type the token, this is the price of one unity in PLSX terms. So current price of one unity 4,340, for example, and this is the range. So basically, if you might set up liquidity pool to the upper side, it should, the lower limit should be slightly above 0, and the upper limit is 80%. Though this is valid only for 1%. So 1% fee tier. If you choose the recommended fee tier, then it should be different, though that is still to be tested. So I'm sharing with you my experiences, and if you set it the same way as in Torus, it should look kind of like this, from slightly above 0 to 80%. And then you can deposit some Unity tokens, and I'm not sure if you have the option to choose between 25%, 50, 75 and max, or you type it in manually, but however, so it looks slightly different, the indexes, but that's the same. So why 80%? The range of your liquidity position. The good thing is it doesn't happen immediately. 80% move, we didn't have it for a long time, I guess in the first cycle only. So you have plenty of time to exit. So there's no stress, no need to be stressed out, right? And the good thing is also, okay, let's at a certain ratio, this should be enough time to remove liquidity position at a certain ratio. I'm sorry, that's a typo. I will show you why it shouldn't be too much lower than 80% on the next slide, I think, or in 2 slides. So here is the visualization of that, or the proof that 80% move to the upside. Here, this is what it would look like on the overall chart, or if you zoom out. So it takes some time, so you can sleep well. You don't need to worry. Okay, and here to compare, so this is the Torus chart here on the left side. For example, here on the upside, this is it's zoomed in here. This movement here is this one, it's almost 30%, and here it's almost 40% here. So even if you set it up here, the liquidity position, and you it was 4 days, I guess, in 4 days it went up 40%. Well, should be still enough time, 4 days, to if you wanted to convert 50% of your tokens, because you set up for 80% and it went up 40, that would mean you have converted 50% of your tokens after 4 days. But as you can see, then it goes down, so it doesn't go up only, so you have enough time to act and to exit your liquidity pool. And on Unity and PLSX, this is what it would look like if the price goes up 80%, though I guess we don't expect that to happen next days, because there will be a lot of inflation in 2 days. And this move here is what you see on the picture below. It was 22% here, so plenty of time to handle your liquidity position. So I tested with 100 Torus tokens on Uniswap on the 1% fee tier. Right after the whale dumped, here you can see the whale, so this was the move 6 days ago, and that's basically also a good entry point after a big dump, for example, like a really big dump, and that was a big dump. After that, price like it could go down lower, of course, but in this case it went up. So I set the liquidity positions here right after the dump, or short after it, and I stayed in the range last 6 days. So as you can see, price went up, and my range was set higher, so yeah, it's not showing correctly. So I basically set 80% up, and that would go up more than shown here in this green square, but I wanted to show here that all 6 days I was in range. I was earning fees and converting tokens. So my starting price was 290,000 TITANX for one Torus. Oh yeah, so I made 2 different liquidity positions to compare. So first one was 50% up, so here you can see the minimal price would be 290. So the point of entry was slightly below 290. And the upper limit would be 433, which is 50% above. These are the results after 6 days. So, and the second liquidity position would be 80% to the upper side, and that would be like same entry price, but 518,000, which is 80% more on 290. Here you have the results too. So what you can see here I converted 66% of those 1,000 Torus tokens, and I only have 307 Torus left, and the rest are TITANX tokens. So if I would remove liquidity, okay, here by the way, also one point, so you can calculate the fees ROI. Yeah, here you have the fees, and here also, and what you can see here, that if the range is tighter, I mean 50 and 80%, 50% is a tighter range. The tighter the range is, the more fees you earn. The more fees you earn, and also if you compare here, the more the tokens get converted. So here I converted 66% in a tighter range, compared to 80% range, a wider range, I converted only 46%. And you have to remember, this only happened because the price went up. So yeah, that's why the fees were higher on the tighter range, 0.25% a day compared to 0.18% on a day on a wider range. And what I wanted to make clear to you, if I would remove this liquidity position right now, I would get out 307 Torus and 230 million TITANX, which I could use to stake. Same here, if I remove right now, I get out 500 Torus and slightly less TITANX. So this is the nice thing on Uniswap. You have this visualization on 9mm. At least I wasn't able to see it, unluckily. Here you see it clearly. You can also calculate. Here you have the number of tokens. So according to that, the percentage is calculated, the ratio between the tokens. So I started with 100% Torus and ended with only a portion of Torus. The rest is TITANX. So the big picture is, and remember guys, we are only looking at the price chart in ratio regards, so not in USD price. Because yeah, USD price will be interesting when price really goes up a lot, or when I guess TITANX goes up a lot and we go up a lot. So currently I just want to accumulate tokens, so that's the important thing here. And here you can see the two end days of the first two cycles, and we are here currently, so we are kind of in the middle of third cycle on Torus. And here you have a downtrend and here you have an uptrend, and that's where I tested the liquidity providing, which I want to show you. Oh, didn't animate that one, but you will see why it's there. So if we zoom in on those uptrend, downtrend first, and uptrend, so this is just a zoom in on what I showed before on the page before. There you have the big whale dumping, and then we went up after that. So this is last couple of weeks, like 3 weeks, what happened. And yeah, this is now an interesting issue. If you pay close attention to the chart, or better to say to the angle in which it goes up, so it's inclined less than usual. If you take a really close look, like here, it goes up steeper than here, and that is because here, exactly here, I set an LP in a really tight range, and I cannot recoup what was the exact number in percent, but I think it was 10%, maybe 5%. I'm not sure. So it was really tight, and the problem with a too tight position like that is, you can see it on the chart. So the buy and build and buy and burn contracts, they were still buying every 10 minutes, but a lot of those, I don't know, of that energy would go to my liquidity providing position. So I don't like it, and I thought it is some kind of conspiracy because like someone paid attention to my liquidity position and made the payout less. That's what I thought. But anyway, the point here is, if you make a too tight range, it's not good for, it's really bad for the chart, as you see, because since then I never did it, as you see. And I'm also seemingly like the only one who provides liquidity. That's why I'm doing this video for you. So when is the best timing? And this is showing when I was adding or removing my liquidity position. As you can see, I was testing a lot. I added and removed until I kind of knew what I'm doing. Okay. By the way, here is that point of steep, of too tight liquidity. Here you can see it. So I tested a lot, and what I can tell you guys, as you can see on the left side, we are in the downtrend. So I always set a liquidity position for the upper side, and it didn't work here. I was out of range here because the price kept going down. And here the price went up and I was always in range, like almost all the time. And that's the point here. And if we go in detail, I tested different ranges, like bigger range than 80. I started with 100%, which the Uniswap site offers. Once I sold to stake, so I tested that too. It works, of course. And 10% was here. That's when I tested it. It was too tight. I got frustrated because, nothing worked as expected. But then, looking here, I was able, like here, at this point, I removed the old liquidity, added a new one, and after 3 days, I converted enough tokens of Torus to stake almost 9% of my bag. Next step, then I removed and added again, and went on, staked some more, and more, and more, and more. And the result is I staked almost 1/3 of my tokens since this point, since this uptrend started. I paid some tokens for staking fee, so that's basically kind of the same as if I would sell to stake, with the difference that I didn't dump on the chart. So these 5 times I staked, each time I could have sold to stake, and you would see that 5 red candles on the chart, but I didn't sell actively. And here on the chart, you don't see that 5 red candles. And the protocol, the steepness, is good. As you can see, the green candles are going up in a proper way, as usual. So I didn't block green candles to go up like here, right? Because I set liquidity at 80% range. So I'm left after, this time period is 2.5 weeks, I guess, kind of, yes. So I have almost 15% of tokens left, liquid, or actually not liquid. I made another liquidity pool, but the price is not going up right now, so it doesn't do much. So I am looking to double my token number after, I staked 5 times here, as you can see. And even paying the staking fee, more than half of the tokens, I will still end with double token number because I staked. So if I just would hold those tokens liquid, I wouldn't earn anything. And in this way, I will double my tokens. Isn't that nice? And what would happen if more people do this? Look at the statistics. Currently, most tokens even are liquid. People are just holding because, I guess, they don't have the money to stake, and they don't want to sell to stake and whatever. But if more people do this, of course, not everyone will do this strategy with liquidity providing, but if then the number of liquid tokens goes down significantly, like here, and 6% are 15% of 38. Like if we assume everyone would do this liquidity providing with me together from here, then amount of liquid tokens would only be 6% instead of 38, and that's what we can show to new people and how we can attract them, I guess. Because, yeah, and also the more you stake, the more tokens you earn, so makes sense. I don't know what this is, but we will see. Oh yeah, this is the comparison to 9mm DEX. So you have two tests here, and I did 2 liquidity pools. Let's start here. So the difference here though is here, like half of the time the liquidity pools were inactive, it's called here, so out of range. As you see, price goes up and down, it's volatile, and I started here at around 4,600 PLSX for 1 Unity token. And as you can see, yeah, like in Torus, I was always in range, and here I was approximately half of the time outside of the range, so inactive. It's called here on 9mm. So the result is, yeah, I set up the LP wrong on 0.01 feet here, and I have to test it more, guys. I'm really sorry. I wanted to bring out this video because in 2 days cycle 2 ends on Unity, but there is no haste actually, and I will test more. But here what I can show you, well, as you can see, the price is currently outside of the range, and that's why I didn't convert anything. So I started with, and here also it's 1000 Unity tokens. That's the test. So yeah, I didn't convert. Not a single Unity because I'm here outside of the range. Price range begins here and we are below. So the 0 converted, like if I would look at it here on 7th of February, it would be somewhere here, and I could exit it, and here I would have some PLSX, but price went down. So nothing converted, but why this test failed is actually because of the fees, because it's basically no fees. 2 cents out of almost 300 bucks. It's I set it up wrong because, you know, it's 30% up to the upside, and that's too much for this 0.01% fee. So I have to make more tests. I guess it should be 0.8%, like 80% on a 1% fee tier. But I will test more and share with you guys. And the second LP, I guess it's not representative to compare with Torus because, well, first of all, because main liquidity pool on Unity is not 1%, it's 0.01%. And also instead of 80% range, I tested with 30% range. But still, I earned some fees, and the fees are 0.12%. It's less than in Torus. It was 0.2, but it was different range. So to compare it, really, I have to make the same settings here. And also you have to remember that half of the time I was outside of the range, and that's why I earned less fees than in Torus on Uniswap. So let's look at the big picture here also as well. In Unity started later than Torus, and first cycle ended, but the second cycle ends in 2 days. So today is the 8th of February. So in 2 or 3 days the second cycle will end. That's still to come. And yeah, so what would be a good entry points or good periods for such an liquidity pool to the upside? Basically, it's these uptrends on the Unity chart, and it's also a ratio to PLSX, always. Every chart in this video and presentation. It's never a USD price, always PLSX or TITANX. So you have to remember, guys, the chart is very volatile in the first cycle. So with each cycle there will be less volatility. So still these are the facts here. There was a lot of uptrends, but I guess no one of us had like crazy number of Unity tokens, because that's still to come out in 2 or 3 days. And yeah, how can you predict high inflation days or end of second cycle? If you go to the DAPP, you can click on stats and scroll down, and you push on analytics dashboard, and then you get here. And this is very handy information, because you can go with the mouse cursor over here, and then you can see on which day how much new tokens, so inflation, come out. And on this day, in 2 or 3 days, there will be a huge spike of new tokens, 2.2 million. So that's how you can predict inflation. And here you have the next days, not as much as on this day. But wait a second, and I talked about this. So I showed you the upside liquidity range, liquidity position, but you can do the same to the downside, right? And this struck me when I made this presentation. So this is what I showed you in Uniswap, on Uniswap with 80% upper, but you can do similar thing to the downside. So in a downtrend, you can still convert your Torus tokens. And I still have to figure out what the optimal percentage range would be. But basically here, as you can see, like the minimum price would be the lowest limit, and the maximum price is the upper limit, which is slightly below zero, the next below zero. And that would be one possibility with minus 50%, but yeah, that's how it should work basically. But I will test it for you guys and for myself also. I'm learning a lot here. And to remind you guys why I'm doing all of this is, yeah, if we want sustainability, then the project needs to fuel the funds. It's really easy, and that's also why Aether comes out. We hope that new guys will come in, and they should, because in the long term the projects are set up for glory. But yeah, we cannot force people, we can market a good product, right? So that's also one incentive for me to make, instead of selling, which you can see on the chart, I make a liquidity pool, which you don't, where you don't see the selling on the chart. It's good marketing for new people. So here you have the stats. In case like, I'm really surprised that some guys in the chat, they are asking questions, so basic questions. So here are some basics for you. There are some funds, okay, and there's 3 types of funds: buy and burn fund, which and you can see here how much is currently in there and what is the allocation, like daily use of that number. Buy and build, we have some liquidity built up. That's always the question, how much liquidity the project has. You will see right now how much. Here is the fractal. That's another thing. Fractal is just fueling the buy and burn. I guess only the buy and burn fund, not the buy and build. But anyway, that's a little booster for the other funds, the fractal. And here you have the current standings on Torus and Unity. So every new energy which comes into the project is distributed with this allocation. And also interesting question was how much PLSX a guy asked was burned. Here you have it. And you can see all of this on the DAPP. So if you go to the DAPP, to the stats page, you can look it all up. And also liquidity, I promised you. Here you can see 97K and 124K on the project's market cap, you can see. So these are the current standings. On that regard, guys, I want to remind you every Thursday. Yeah, you don't see the time here, but yeah. Every Thursday there is a space on X with my participation and Martin, also a very active user. And we have different topics, so everyone is invited. And besides that, don't be a trader, be an investor with a long term outside. And stay tuned, because there is more to come. I will test more for you and for myself, as I said. I wanted to benefit the protocols. I want to help you. If you have questions, I'm in the chat. And surely, like, you know, I'm not an expert. And by the way, I want to make a shout out to Mr. Walking Circles, who has more experience on liquidity providing than me. But I am gathering experience. As you can see, it's no science. And you can learn it and use it for you to earn fees, to avoid selling on the chart, and to fuel the protocols. Because if you don't do it, if you just hold, you can do it, but it's not helping the project. On that way, on that regard, in this way, welcome to the age of Torus and Unity. Peace out, guys.